Hey, good evening, and welcome to our weekly show. We call it Three Broke Guys Handicapping, where we review one of the top racing cards from around the United States. We will select a four-race sequence from that track and attempt to come to a consensus on a pick four ticket. Thank you for joining us, and this week we are headed right back to Santa Anita, attempting to make amends for missing a very hittable pick four on opening day that would have been our biggest payday to date. So, week number 2 in the racing season finds us back in beautiful Arcadia, California. Course starts with race number 6 and finishes in race number 9. There's just one stakes race in that pick four sequence on Saturday. My name is Rich Sharp, and each week I'll be joined by my friends and racing analysts, Ray Torado, who joins us from Staten Island, New York. Ray, how you doing?
How you doing, Rich? How's everything? Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, sir. And each week he joins us from his home in Temecula, California. Joe English. Joe, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Rich. Thanks. Happy New Year. I hope everybody's Christmas went well.
Yeah, thank you, sir. All right, gentlemen, last weekend of 2016, so it's time for your New Year's racing resolutions. Joe, I'm going to let you go ahead and go first.
Well, I have plenty of them, but actually I'm going to stick with three. I'm going to stick with three, and the first one is to be more forgiving as a handicapper. I have a tendency to see one bad race and say, oh, what happened? And then now I've learned, and I'm trying to learn to be more forgiving as a handicapper and say that one bad race isn't going to kill anything. My second resolution was to use technology to be more proactive and keep better records and see how I'm doing and keep track of what I do better and what I do worse at so that I can always try and learn from my mistakes. And the third and most important resolution is to go outside of Southern California and go to a racetrack, whether it's Turf Paradise in Arizona or Golden Gate Fields up in Northern California, or some of the California fairs, or somewhere even further away than that. My goals is to get out to maybe New York or to Florida, Chicago, somewhere, Kentucky, to see a race, or at least a race, or maybe get out there for a weekend at some point in 2017.
All right, those are good ones. More forgiving, use technology a little bit more, and to go outside of Southern California to attend a race. I like all three of those. All right, Mr. Torado, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you. Give me your New Year's racing resolutions.
First of all, I want to add to Joe's last resolution. Let's go January 28th, Gulfstream Park, Pegasus. Book the flight. Book the flight. Start out quickly. Actually, my resolution is to try and cash tickets with less combinations. Since I like to play vertical, I'm going to try and use small doubles to try and generate some cash. Make pick threes as main bets, and use pick fours as a big winner wager. So during the racing card, that's try and do, and try to slim down as best as I can on the wagers. Just because the horse is 30-1, don't throw him in because you like the odds. He has to show something. So that's my goal. And also, I like yours to go to other racetracks in the United States. Float around from here to there. That'd be nice. And that's about it. And just to have fun with it, and have a profit season. Came close last year, but just a little short. Rich, your resolutions.
Well, I'm just going to go with one. I'm lucky if I can get one resolution in every single year. A couple of years ago, actually, I eliminated a non-profitable bet called the Pick Five from my repertoire. I don't bet very many Pick Fives at all anymore, and Joe will vouch for me that I used to bet every single Pick Five at every single Southern California racetrack, and to this date, I have still never hit one, so I don't bet those anymore. But this year, and this is actually based on something that Joe brought up, is using technology. So because I do use technology, I have vowed that in 2017, I am going to try and break my wagering down so that I get a little bit closer to 50-50 on my win wagers. So I actually have two different accounts. I gamble out of one that's all exotic bets, and the other one is all win bets in the two wagering services. So I use TVG and I use Twin Spires, and I actually kind of deviate and I use them both differently. And what I noticed this last year was The Twin Spires one, which is the one that gets the exotic bits, which gets all the big paydays and all the huge ones, goes up and down just like a Wall Street stock ticket marker wouldn't let that. And the WinBet one this year, as far as TVG, just kind of steadily went up and up and up, and now they're almost exactly at the same amount. So I am going to focus more on WinBets in 2017.
Okay.
That's a good one, actually.
That's the go, yeah.
All right. Last week was opening day at Santa Anita, and I will tell you, as I told my friends just a few minutes ago, that I felt a little sick to my stomach as I watched Constellation reel in the favorite down the stretch in the Grade 1 La Brea. It knocked me out of my personal pick 4 as well, and stung twice as bad knowing that Joe English had picked her, and she had appeared on our initial pick 4 ticket last week. She was one of the exclusions. That's what I call that when we put somebody on the ticket and then we take it off. That's called an exclusion. She was one of our last and probably our cruelest cuts of 2016. So. Time for a brief weather update from Arcadia, California. The forecast for Saturday calls for a high of 54 with cloudy skies, and take note, it's a 100% chance of rain for tomorrow. About a quarter of an inch, and the humidity will be at about 88%. A total of 9 races. There are 2 stakes on tap for Saturday. For today, we are focused on the pick 4, beginning in race number 6 and concluding in race number 9. Gentlemen, the gates are locked and loaded. The outriders are clear, and the starter is ready to pop the gate. It's pick 4 post time. Race number 6. Oh, go ahead, Joe.
No, I was going to say, let me get my whip hand free. Let's go.
Here we go. Race number 6. Approximate post time is 6 p.m. Eastern. There is no guarantee that I'm aware of in the pick 4.
Nope.
Maiden special weight race going a mile and a 16th on the main track. The purse is $54,000 plus $17,000 from the Cowbred Owners Fund. This is for maiden 2-year-olds only. For 12 starters, and your morning line favorite at 7-2 is in post number 10. I Rap for trainer Doug O'Neill and ridden by Flavian Pratt. Ray, you got a lot of options and a lot of ways to go. You can go with 12 starters in a 2-turn maiden race for 2-year-olds. But just remember who's watching. Over to you, Ray.
All right. This is it's a good race. Either you can have 2 opinions here, I think. Either you can look to single a horse or go very deep. And I kind of like a lot number 10, I Rap, with the favorite. He's 7-2, and he probably below that come post time. And you can see he finished second behind a powerful performance by Mastery in the Grade 1 Lost Out Derby. He's a maiden. The pace is very fast. I mean, they ran plus 20, plus 25. I mean, horse race times, 45-3, 109-2. And he got a little tired at the end as Mastery drew off by 7. And he held second, so he was clear of the field for second place. So now he's back with maidens, and I think he should dominate this race. I would look to single him, but if anything happens, like we have room, whatever, I got a few horses here that do deserve consideration. Number 3, Sonatier, he's 8-1. He's tried routing 3 times. He's picked up the pieces for placing. I think Exposure probably needs to get this one within range and just make a move with him. In 5 races, he's had like 1 show. He may not like to win, so be cautious with him. Number 2, Surfside Sunset. He's his second time out. Stretching out for a fast-paced sprint. The Somo is good 25% on his route races. And he's here, even though Keith DeSomo does have an entry here on Sonatier, who gets Victor Spinoza. I also like number 8, Her Honor and Courage. He's 8-1. This is 4th career race. He's switching from Mike Smith to Rosario, and he could be possibly the speed who may not look back. He's working long for Hollendorfer, 5 furlongs, 6 furlongs. So he's put in some good works. And also I mentioned number 12, Sheer Flattery, and 7, Dre Dan for Bob Baffert, first time out. I usually don't like to bet first time horses going mile 16th. I'm very cautious with them because it's a long distance, and usually horses, start off their races in sprints. I see a check mark there, but that's all right. I mean, we can include him. He looks like a good horse. So, all right, Joe, special weight, 2-year-olds. Who knows? Maybe this could be one of next year's Derby horses.
Well, anything's possible, considering that
Yeah,
the owners of Dre Dan paid almost $1 million
a lot of money.
for him.
Yeah.
I would think they have some kind of expectation. I don't know necessarily whether it's tomorrow or whether, I mean, if they're looking at the first Saturday in May, uh, having the, getting a start this late, I mean, I mean, it can't help, but they got to get started somewhere. And starting at a mile and 16th, as you said, Ray, is always a tough way to go. Regardless of what they paid for horses, I've seen horses paid a lot that they pay a lot more for than this, that don't get anywhere. So they're just speculating at this point, and not that you can't trust Baffert, but this is kind of a tough group, and it's a tough spot. I actually, like I said, I like your horse, Ray. I like IRAP a little bit, but I was going with the 2, Surfside Sunset, as my top pick, and there's gonna be a theme to a lot of my picks today, and Rich alluded to it in the weather forecast, and that there's 100% chance of rain, so that there is going to be some moisture in the track. It's not going to be that Santa Anita concrete highway that you're used to seeing. The Surfside Sunset ran a near, it was near the Buyer's Speed figure par for his debut. He's worked twice since then, both at 6 furlongs and at 5 furlongs. Longer works, preparing for the longer distance. Bob Hess is 2 for 7 to 2-year-olds in their first dirt route over the past 5 years. I know it's a small sample size, but 2 for 7, still 2 for 7. Both of those winners actually began with sprints at Del Mar, and their first route races at Santa Anita, just like this horse today. And I wanted to mention that the horse, the dam of the horse, Wild Wife, wasn't much of a horse. I actually looked up her past performances in Formulator, and she was 3 for 27, and she ran mostly on the Mid-Atlantic circuit, Laurel and Charlestown, excuse me. But all 3 wins came over wet tracks. She was 3 or 5 over wet tracks. So I think this horse is going to like the surface. The only concern I have is, will she be close enough to the early pace? Because speed usually generally dominates at Santa Anita. Whether the rain has an effect on that or not, I think usually it actually helps speed more. So IRAP and Surfside Sunset were 2 of the 3 I was going to use. I was also going to use not Dre Dan. I was actually going to use the other Baffert, leading score. This horse is 12 to 1 in the morning line. You can get 12 to 1 on Bob Baffert, even with Martin Pedroza. That's not a bad way to go. The horse disappointed at 4 to 5 at Los Al in his debut, but he returns to his home track. If you notice, all the works that the horse has been working has been at Santa Anita. And again, this is more an off-track angle for me. Midnight Loot had one start on an off-track, and I'm sure Ray might remember this. I'm not sure about you, Rich, but he won the Breeders' Cup Sprint at Monmouth Park in a monsoon.
Oh, yeah.
He won by open lengths. Shameful, the horse's dam, was also a Baffert trainee, and in her only start over an off-track, she ran second in the Grade 3 La Troyenne in 2002 at Churchill Downs on the Derby undercard. So this horse has a chance to do pretty well in the mud as well. Again, you're getting 12 to 1. He would be my third option in this spot. But I would go 10, 2, 10, 5 in that order. But all 3 of those would be on my personal pick 4 ticket. So that would be it for me. 2, 10, 5. And I'll hand it off to Rich. Rich, what do you think? I see that check mark near Dre Dan, so I'm assuming he's in your ticket.
Yeah, I guess that's one of the tough folks things here for the folks who are watching is I guess when I don't do my homework, when I don't do a good job of getting all my notes in and stuff like that, you actually get to watch me do some of it right there on the air. And in this case, when I do get it done early, then you kind of get a hint into exactly where I'm going. And Ray and Joe already called me out for the fact that my check mark ended up on this guy Bob Baffert. Who as I had warned Ray that I was going to go that way in the first place. He's always watching. He's over here on my shelf watching me as I handicap. And Bob's back together with his main guy. Him and Martin have made up at the end of the year. So always nice to see that. It's a first-time starter, but it's Bob Baffert, first-time starter. So Union Rags 14% with his first-time starters. Baffert 21% with his first-time starters, and 19% debuting at a mile or greater. 21% on debuting maiden special weight, working out the way they like to see a Baffert workout, 46. The horse is ready to go, and I like the fact that there's a lot of confidence in debuting at a mile and a 16th. And Joe already called me out for this as well. I like the breeding, and somebody who liked it a lot to pay $1 million. The Bayoma Corp is expecting to get their money back at some point in time. And so my top pick in this race, which I thought was a really tough race, was the 7. I believe I backed it up with 2 horses that you've already heard about. I think I've got the 10, which is IRAP, which is the Doug O'Neill horse and the favorite. And then underneath on my second line, I like the 2 for all the reasons that Joe already alluded to. And in addition to something that Ray caught, which is that Kentis Ormo rode Sonneteer for most of his career, for 4 of his 5 races so far. His brother Keith is the trainer, so that's no surprise. But lo and behold, he switches over, and when he's given the choice, he chooses to go back to his old buddy Bob Hess. At one point in time last year, or last couple of years, Bob Hess and Kentis Ormo, very powerful combination. And now he's picking him over that. So I put the 2 underneath. I went 7, 10, 2. Joe, you went 2, 10, 5. Did I hear you also at the 4?
Right.
Or was it 2, 10, 5?
No.
Okay.
10, 5.
And Ray, I've got you with 10, 3, 2. And then I believe underneath
8.
was it, and the 8 underneath, or
8,
was it
12, and 7.
Okay, 8.
Yeah, 10 with the, and then underneath was 3, 2, 8, 12, 7. So this year, I mean,
All right.
I'll probably go 10.
I'm gonna get you.
3.
I'm gonna get you a hat that says Mr. Keno.
I'm gonna come back to you
But
guys.
you did say something about singling, so I'm
Yeah, so,
assuming we're
yeah,
going
man.
closer that way.
All right, we are going to move along to race number 7. This is an optional claiming, $40,000 for non-winners of one race. Purse is $56,000 plus $16,800 from the Cowbred Owners Fund, because again, it pays to be Cowbred. They're going 6 furlongs on the main track for 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won $10,000 other than maiden, claiming, or starter, or which have never won 2 races, or optional claiming price of $40,000. 10 starters, and your morning line favorite is in post number 9. Blue Anchor, trained by Mark Glatt and ridden by Jamie Terrio, comes in as your 5-2 morning line favorite. Joe, I'm just going to chalk last week up to the fact that it wasn't in the stars for us, or the constellation, so to speak. But how do you see race number 7?
It's funny. I expect a pace battle here. I'm not 100% sure what exactly is going to happen. This race was a difficult race to figure, and my opinion, to be honest with you, is not very strong. I'm going with a long shot here. I'm going with the 5, my Prince Harry. Stuart Elliott rides for Mike Pipey. This horse has a first and a second and 2 starts at the distance. 6.5 furlongs at Santa Anita has been tricky. And if you go to the profile, it goes about 50%. It seems like 50% go to the front runners, 50% go to the back markers that are early in the race. So it's a tough race to figure. I think this horse, just like I mentioned with Constellation last week, I think this horse has been working a little bit more slowly in the morning, or a little bit longer, and a little bit with an eye towards finishing at the end, and that may suit him in this spot. I think this race is really, it's got a pretty loaded with speed. The trainer jockey combo is pretty strong. Stuart Elliott and Mike Piper, 23% with a 442 ROI at Santa Anita, and a 24% with a 2.8 ROI for overall for 2015, 2016. And again, we're going with the slop angle. And if I'm not sure, again, this is one that Ray might remember. Henny Hughes actually ran second in the Champagne back in 2005 in the mud at Belmont Park. So again, this is one that the moisture might help if the rain comes as much as we think it's going to come. Underneath, my other choices would be the 3 Individualist. And I'm assuming that's supposed to be Individualist, but they spelled it with the name David in for whatever reason. Either that or maybe they just couldn't get it past the Jockey Club. Like the Turf Return in at Del Mar as a prep for this spot. I like that Joel Rosario gets up for the Kristen Mulhall barn. Generally, you don't see big riders. Well, you do see big riders riding for small stables, but I think this is a good move for this horse. The horse has been working regularly, so obviously the layoff is not a concern anymore. You see that the horse originally started in February and made his return back in December earlier this month. And just note that the sire, Cantheros, in 2010, won his debut in the mud and won the Saratoga Special of 2010 in the mud before, unfortunately, having to be retired as 3-for-3 lifetime. So the horse has some mud breeding. So I like him a little bit. He's 3-1 on the morning line. And the other horse I would use is the 10, Ali Boss, Molly Pearson and Martine Pedroza, 7-2 on the morning line. Seeking his third straight win after 2 open length wins at lower levels. I think he's drawn well. He's going to be able to sit on the outside and monitor what the speed does inside of him and make his move when he needs to. And the horse is drilled twice at 5 furlongs. So the form is holding, obviously, from those 2 big wins earlier in the meet. So I went in order 5, My Prince Harry, with the 3 Individualist and the 10 Ali Boss, and they will all be on my personal pick 4 ticket. So I will now hand it off to Ray. Ray, what did you think of the pace setup in this race?
Yeah, this distance, I see a few horses going out to lead early, and I'm looking for like a horse to be in the middle, maybe a late closer. It's funny because it's gonna be a little tough day because usually, in Santa Anita you don't get too many wet racetracks. A lot of times it's sunny and fast, and so a lot of the form here is fast, fast, fast. So you have to guess like you're doing, and use just the stats of sires and stuff, and which is very good. And that's this race. Well, I'm still claiming 1x to 9 winners of 1. I have on top. I'm going with the favorite, Individualist. He had a sharp maiden debut, scoring the lead. He's back in the same class. He was in the same class last race on the turf, but he broke a step slowly, and he got up for third by 2 lengths. So it wasn't that bad a race. He stays in the same class here and switches to Rosario, and he tries another 1/8 of a mile here. So he'll probably be in the front, battling, and maybe mid-pack. I think he'll be in the front, most likely, with his post. And be able to hold him off. But I do like a few closers here. Number 6 at price, Dead Easy, 10-1. He's a closer, sprinter. He's been in this condition, seems like forever. I like to switch to Solis, who's 20% sprinting. He's going to need a pace to run into, which he probably will get. Just depends how far back he'll be. But he is 6 for 9 in the money at Santa Anita, and he did earn his highest figure. So he kind of likes the track, and I give him a chance at 10-1. I like number 4, Bolita Boy, 8-1. He's actually a 5-time winner, moving back into the allowance of 9 winners of 1. So he likes to win, 5 out of 26. He switches to Pratt for Hollendorfer. He may lay closer to mid-pack and may have a better run than Dead Easy, so he might be in front of him. So I can see those 2 running down the stretch. I also like number 8, Bistrea. This horse been chasing Gunrunner earlier this year, out since May. Could get a solid pace to run into here. DeSormo rides for his brother Keith, and it's his first start for the new trainer. And Keith DeSormo is 24% at that angle. So at 8-1, he went for that also. So I would go 3, 6, 4, 8, and I would probably include all 4 on my ticket, since I was going to go a little light maybe in the first race. All right, Rich. Get to stay. This is an optional claiming, sprinting, on the dirt, or could be on the slop.
Yeah, and what was interesting about this race as I was going through and handicapping it was some of the names that appeared in the past performances. So this was kind of cool. If you go here for top, not that I'm picking him here, but Top Fortitude's got Shared Belief and Candy Boy back there in the history. So I thought that was kind of neat as I was going through there. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is the first level that you'll get to. I hadn't realized what Joe had caught on to right there, which is so far at Santa Anita, it was 17 races under its belt so far, going at this 6.5 furlong distance. No real bias showing it, which is very unusual for Santa Anita. Usually you are looking at something of a paved highway. So I kind of handicapped it thinking that we will see that, though. If there is rain, there is some moisture out there. If there's any chance that they end up sealing the track, God forbid, this place will play to the front running speed. I decided not to use Blue Anchor on top at least, and went ahead and went with Ali Boss, liking Molly Pearson from my San Luis Ray connection, Martin Pedroza outside post, and maybe the best early pace figures. It was tough to tell. It looked like Guy Code could possibly be the quickest horse in this race, but it was really a tough read to see who it was that was going to be on the lead at that first post. But there's going to be a few of them who are going for it. There's no doubt about that. And Ali Boss is going to try. I'm just rolling the dice. Again, I heard Joe kind of mention the quick works down here, 1 for 86, 59 and 2. So I end up with Ali Boss on the top. I think as far as my backup picks or my underneath picks, if I'm not mistaken, I have the 8 and the 9 in there as well. So get back down here. Ray kind of gave us Bistrea earlier this year. Very classy horse, actually in the Risen Star. Ended up running against Gunrunner. Came back. And again, I'm looking for someone who's going to have some early pace on a track that could be either sealed or very quick due to the rain on the main track there. So Desormo, despite the fact that as I was looking at that there, they're 0 for 10 so far. The brother combination, dropping in class, I do like Bistrea as well. So I've got the 10 and the 8 with the 9 there. I've got Joe with the 5, the 3, and the 10. And I have Ray with the 3, the 4, the 6, and the 8. Getting a train wreck coming up there for us.
Right. Yes, it's a tough one.
All right.
And it's not getting any easier, fellas.
No. All right. I am coming back for the feature, and this is race number 8. It is the American Oaks, the Grade 1 American Oaks, going 1 1/4 miles on the turf. And I'll knock on wood right now because with a 100% chance of rain, hopefully they'll be able to keep this race on the turf. The purse is $300,000 for fillies, 3-year-olds only, 13 starters, and your morning line favorite at 7-2 is in post number 2. Stays in Vegas, trained by Jerry Hollendorfer and ridden by Flavian Pratt. Ray, classy ladies on the turf, and we've actually seen quite a few of these contenders already on our show throughout the year. Any of them catch your fancy?
Yeah, I do. I like the horse Stays in Vegas, number 2. I'm leaning towards that horse. You get the speed on the inside. Can sit right off a Lady Velour. Advantage for him, to her actually, is to save ground and save stuff for the stretch. Pratt rides for Hollendorfer, and actually she's 5 for 12 with 10 in the money. So this is a good horse. And running the matriarch just missed. Go a little further, so it might have to see off the pace a little bit. I'm going to a far outside here. One of my Uncle Bo horses here. Number 13, Mocat, 6-1. Winner of the San Clemente and may like the distance. On this one for Richard Baltus, searching for his first grade 1. She just missed in the Del Mar Oaks, with a good trip, and just by 3/4 of a length as a favorite. Van Dyke picks up for the mount for Baltus, so he's 17% on his turf starts. So I like that horse, and also just gonna go 3 deep here. I do like number 6, Sassy Little Lila. Could be part of the pace. There's a big class jump here for Brad Cox. 24% shipper and 29% on the turf. He's coming here for a reason. He's got Louis Sayers, who's been on all 5 of her starts with 2 wins and 2 seconds. So they're here looking for the good money. That's how I would go. I would go 2, 13, and 6 in that order. And yep, that's right. Scary face for another place. And they're here to run. So, all right, Joe. This is our stake race, Grade 1. Who you like in this race?
Yeah, like I said, I know the weather is important because as much as I know, I'm fairly certain they're going to keep this. If it's only going to be a 1/4 of an inch of rain, as Richard alluded to earlier in our weather forecast, they're going to keep this race on the turf. It's a Grade 1. They don't switch Grade 1s too often.
Nope.
Unless the jockeys would really have to basically tell you, hey, this course is unsafe and we wouldn't be able to ride on it altogether. And if you did, God forbid, I would hate it because you'd probably scratch down to a field of 4, maybe 5, which would be kind of sad for a grade 1. Anyway, only 3 horses in this race have tried the distance, and only one is won, and it's got Rich's check mark, Sassy Little Lila, which I'm sure he will get to shortly. I actually liked the horse that Ray mentioned as his second choice, and that's Mocat. As I mentioned in my resolutions, I'm going to be forgiving and forgive the race that she ran at Keeneland. She's had time to recover. She's returning home to her home base. And Ray mentioned she beat some of these in the San Clemente earlier, and she's placed twice in grade 1s behind Songbird. Actually, not grade 1s, once in a grade 1. These haven't really tried grade 1s. A couple of them have, but I see she's got a little bit of class, being that she's been beaten by Songbird. I mean, a lot of people have. But the one thing I was concerned about, not concerned necessarily, but I noticed that Drayden Van Dyke usually rides a lot for Graham Motion. He didn't get on Graham Motion's horse. He was also on Stays in Vegas when Stays in Vegas ran that great race at the Matriarch last time, and he is not there either. He ends up on Mocat, and I kind of wonder if that was his choice. And if it was his choice, that's pretty telling. He's pretty capable on the turf. Obviously, if Graham Motion gives you the nod on some of his horses, you got to be somewhat talented. And Uncle Mo is actually pretty good with long distance turf runners. According to Formulator statistics, he's 4 of 8. There aren't a lot of. He obviously doesn't get a lot of chances to run mile and an eighth, mile and a quarter turf races. I hate the draw. I really wish the horse was drawn inside of post 13, but actually that may make the price okay because she's 6-1 in the morning line. I don't need to mention any more. Stays in Vegas would be my second choice. There really isn't a lot of speed lined up in this field. I think she's got a tactical advantage. She's going to be close up, whether she's outside of Lady Velour, as Ray thinks, or I think actually she's going to be on the lead. On how they break and where Lady Velour ends up. But she would be my second choice. And as my third choice, but somebody who probably won't end up on our ticket, I'll mention the 10. She's a Milky Way. Pete Urton had the winner. What was the horse's name? Betty's Bambino last week on opening day. The horse has been was stakes placed earlier this summer, facing a lot of these. Earned solid speed figures. And basically, she's been earning speed figures as good as pretty much anybody in this race. But those were earlier in the year. So she's had a chance to mature and maybe get better and maybe improve. And if you look back at that February race, she ran pretty well off the layoff that day. So I don't think she would be affected at all by the layoff. And Mizzen Mast. Actually, I'm sorry. I guess I'm looking at the wrong horse. That statistic in my notes does not apply. So basically, I'm just going with that angle that the horse can run well off the layoff, and she'll have gotten better over the summer while these other horses have been banging heads against each other, and maybe the freshening will do her good. And she's a big number. She's 12-1 in the morning line, but again, she probably won't end up on our ticket. She would be on mine. So in order 13, 2, and 10 in the American Oaks. Rich?
All right. Well, all the suspense and the mystery has gone out of my pick already. I'm actually leaning towards the shipper. And for anybody who has watched our show throughout the year, and you saw the little note down there beneath somebody was doing that. So the very first episode of Three Broke Guys Handicapping was back there on February the 5th. Mocat was on that episode. And if you've been watching since back then you've heard me that out here in California, I love California horses on the dirt, on the main track. And on the grass, I love the East Coast invaders, the ones that come in from the East Coast and ship in, just like Sassy Little Lila, Scary Face from another place. Now, it's a mile and a quarter on the turf. And so that's the one question mark I have is, does this horse really have the stamina to last and to carry that speed all the way a mile and a quarter on the turf? The answer at Belmont back on October the 26th, at least so far, was yes. And did. Luis Saez ships in. Brad Cox is a very good shipper as far as a trainer, hits 24%. And Saez stays with the mount and comes in. I didn't see if he had any other mounts on the day, but this is a positive note for me. And there's not a whole lot of speed in this race. When you go down to the matrix and you look down here at the end of it, you got Stays in Vegas, who's not really a speed type, more of a stalker. And Lady of Velour, who would be the other speed type. So Sassy Little Lila was my top pick. I went with the 6 on top. I did not have the guts to toss the favorite. And so I think I've got the 2 in there as well. Stays in Vegas. Yes, I did. As you saw here, I thought this was kind of a tough race. So I've got the 2 and the 8 as my backup pick. And then I kind of started just firing away as I got down there. But the 8 is Queen Blossom. And once again, you already heard me bring my analogy up of the scary face from another place. So in this case, why not, if I'm going to go for a scary face from another place, why not go all the way overseas? In this case, it's Graham Motion and Joel Rosario. Joe, this is our angle from the Breeders' Cup a couple of years ago. So first time Lasix on a European shipper coming in. The horse does have 2 wins overseas on yielding turf or on soft firm, whatever it is you want to call it. The typical normal grass over there, which is what we could see. So I did have the 8, but it was the 6 and the 2 on top with the 8 underneath. And then you saw the whole smorgasbord of the 1, 7, and 13, learning a little bit from my friend, Mr. Torado. All right, here I come. All right, coming on back to you guys. Hello. Me and my little Laker tree. This will be the last time the Laker tree appears on our episodes because the holidays are coming to an end. Joe told me you couldn't see the balls, but those are purple and yellow Laker balls and Laker candy canes.
Oh.
And I think there's a Star Trek character. I think there's a Star Wars character in there as well from my kids.
So we went for Brandon Knight. Play better.
All right, that last race, I went with the 2, the 6, and the 8. Joe, I believe you went with the 13, the 2, and then underneath you had the 10. And Ray,
Yes.
you had the 13, the 6, and the 2. All right, we are moving on to the finale, race number 9, maiden claiming 50,000. They are going 6 furlongs on the main track. Purse is $29,000 for cow-bred or cow-sired maiden fillies, 2-year-olds only. They're going to be 3 on Sunday. 12 starters, and your morning line favorite from post number 6, Gypsy Juju, trained by Michael Bukowski and ridden by Santiago Gonzalez, is 7-2 on the morning line. Joe, back to Santa Anita, and we're back to maiden claiming dirt. Leave a selection or two for your friend who loves this spot.
I was going to say the Rich Sharp Invitational.
There we go.
Just to be honest, I looked at this field and they don't show me much. So actually, I'm going to stick with the 2 morning line favorites. My top choice is the 12 Lucky Dolly, Molly Pearson, Martin Pedroza combination that we heard of from earlier in the show. Shows the best pace figures, and again, if we're looking at a track that's favoring speed, the horse drew the 12 hole. My guess is if it rains, they might scratch down a few and maybe get into the 9 or 10 hole. But either way, I don't think the draw makes much difference. The horse is either going to be on or near the lead. The horse has had a chance to recover from her last effort at Los Al. The horse has been working regularly at Turf Paradise, and I kind of wish at least that they would have gotten a horse, even if it was a work at San Luis Rey Downs. I think that would have been the clincher for me. But the horse, with the style that she has, she should get a nice setup. So she'd be my top choice. And the other choice, unfortunately, is the 6, Gypsy Juju. Rich already mentioned Mike Bukowski and Sal Gonzalez. 3-1 in the morning line. The horse had a decent effort in the debut at Del Mar, and if the jockey trainer combination is 4-7 at Santa Anita, and if she improves and can stay closer to the pace than she did in her debut, similar to Mind Your Biscuits did last Monday, the one to beat. So I'm going chalk here. 6, 12 would be my top choice. But I would definitely want to make sure that the 6 Gypsy Juju is on the ticket. So simple for me, 12-6, and I'm not going really exotic here. So I will pass the baton on to Ray. Ray, you take the next meter of this. Is this the 600 or 800 meters?
Oh, like an 800. Yeah, I'm with you here. I'm just going 3 deep here. I got one of your horses. Number 6 on top, Gypsy Juju. A good 4th at the same level in the debut. What I caught was that he had the fastest last pace of all those who have raced at 87. So these horses usually don't finish well. So this horse finished well. Was running at the end. So I'll give a little nod to him. And to her, I'm sorry. And also number 4, very hot, 4-1. This horse has tried Del Mar, Los Al, the Santa Anita Hill. So finally, you're gonna hit the main track, Santa Anita main track. She gets a makeover. I mean, drops the claimer, blinkers added, everything's going on with this horse. They're trying anything. So the model's 31% first time maiden claimer. Elliot stays aboard, so I'll give this horse a shot. If not, they're gonna ship somewhere else. uh,
Golden
and
Gate,
it's
baby.
yeah, I tell you. And also number 11, I like Fit Escape 6-1. Is outrun at Delmont twice, but the only race in Santa Anita wasn't that bad. It was wide, slow pace, and just lost third. For just fourth, just losing third. Tyler Bays replaces Fernando Perez, who I kind of like in some main claiming events. He rides well there. And he's actually 20% with the E-types, early pace types. So I like the 11 Fair Escape. That's how I would go, 6-4-11. Rich, call it a day. This
All
is
right.
your race,
He froze.
Yeah, no, and Jody latched on to the horse that I liked. So when it comes to these maiden claiming dirt affairs going 6 furlongs, I'm usually looking actually for a new shooter. I'm looking for somebody that's there, and there was one that was in there. Unfortunately, I was not crazy about the jock combination. So they're a matter of just getting to the front. 35% are one going wire to wire, 80% are won by early and early EP types, and we've got a nice sampling of races there. So. The logic says get to the front and be up there at the very front of the pack. So I was just looking for the fastest horse, and that is Lucky Dolly. So that was my top pick on this one. Molly Pearson, Martine Pedroza. I brought her up earlier. Same combination. Joe caught her to the fact she actually started the horse at I think this is Arapahoe that is in Arizona. But then a Del Mar and a Los Al race. This one, the September one, was off a little bit of a layoff from the Phoenix track, or coming over in the first try for her. And you see here, steady at the start, 4 wide in the straight. So you can kind of toss that one out. The next one was at Los Al in a 9-horse affair. So a solid affair at Los Al, not one of those 5-horse races. And the horse availed itself and now drops in class, coming over to Santa Anita, and does not look like she caught the toughest punch that I have ever seen here at the maiden claiming rank. So if I'm not mistaken, I also have the favorite Gypsy Juju in there, and I also have the 6, the 8 and the 6. So the 8 is Blazing Miss, and again, just looking for someone who could get on the early pace very quickly. But I think I was solid with just having the 12 here, and the 6 and the 8 were underneath picks for me. I will tell you that Ray, and the reason I didn't go any deeper, that Ray kind of picked on to one of the other pieces of the horses I like, which was very hot, with Phil D'Amato, Stuart Elliott, and looks like they're just throwing, the kitchen sink at the horse. And again, first time maiden claiming 31%, first time blinkers 24%, maiden to maiden claiming 20%. It's Phil D'Amato. He trained the Conquest horse that we saw that won the Mathis Brothers Mile last week, so no more needs to be said. I went 12 on top with 6-8 underneath. Joe's got 12-6, and Ray has 4-6 and 11. This is going to be a fun pick 4 ticket to put together. All right, I'm going to go ahead and come back to you guys here while we go ahead and put this together.
Yeah.
And bring up our ticket.
Sure. Can I give a couple more resolutions?
Absolutely.
Actually, at least one more for sure.
yeah.
Well, 2 more. 2 more. I got 2 more for sure. One, as long as Esquire Network still has horse players available on demand, I'm going to watch it as often as I can. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to watch Let It Ride once a month. Like, come on. You can't not watch that movie. If you like playing the horses, you've got to have seen it. You've got to own a copy of it, and you got to watch it.
I get on DVD.
Because you never know. Because you know what? It's funny. Today, both the Santa Anita pick 6 went down. Actually, 10 people had it, and they actually all won 100,000. So that's kind of cool. I kind of, as opposed to having one person walk away with all of it, it's kind of neat to see more than one person or more than one group of people actually take it down. And they also, sadly, because the Rainbow 6, I mean, I guess everything has to get paid out at the end of the year anyway. I guess it's for I don't know if it's for government reasons or what have you, but it was supposed to be paid out yesterday. Well, somebody knocked it down today. So everybody who was waiting to play the card tomorrow,
on Saturday is going to get
sorry, you don't. I mean, it's still a mandatory payout. So if you want to play the 20-cent wager, I mean, it's not a bad idea, but you're not going to get a shot at $1 million or $2 million or a piece of that. I don't think the pool is going to be that much for tomorrow. But anyway.
Did you book your flight?
To where?
Miami. January 28th.
I can hear my wife. I can hear my wife calling the locksmith. I can hear it now.
Mind you, say make sure you have a one-way ticket.
Maybe I'll just be nice to her and leave his number on leave his business card on the thing. So here you go.
It'll be a one-way ticket. I wind up in Miami Beach.
No, it would it'd be a two-way ticket. I'd go to Miami and then I'd end up either coming back to San Diego or I'm going to Las Vegas. It's one of those two locations.
You can let it ride on the phone.
Okay, I've got the ticket up on the window, so let's be careful. Yeah, let's keep in mind what happened last week. Let's be careful how we do this.
Okay, Rich. Next week. Hold on, Rich. Next week when you do this, I want that first thing to say all.
Yeah, it's exactly.
That's about what we're.
That's what we're getting.
Where we're headed.
That's 7,500. Pay the ticket. That's it. Done. Then get 4 trucks to come out.
Who's fronting that money? Yeah. If we played this ticket, we could probably win and probably lose about 2/3 of our investment. So what's the point in that?
Yeah,
that's true.
So, and again, but let's just be careful. Let's just show a little bit of discretion on how we do this week because last week was that was painful. Fun. Okay. I see in the first race, in the 6th race, I see the 2 on both Joe and Ray's top line. So Ray's got 2-3-10, Joe's got 2-10-5. So the 2 is in there. I do not see the 3, Sonneteer.
No.
I didn't.
No.
Yeah. Okay, so let's back off on Sonneteer for the time being.
I don't have the 5 either. I was the only one who mentioned leading scorer.
Okay.
So we take him out. Who is this? The 7 is Dre Dan.
That's Bafford's horse.
And that's the one. Yeah. Bafford's other horse.
10 is IRAP.
IRAP.
Yeah. IRAP. I think both Ray and I mentioned IRAP because I know Ray was thinking about singling IRAP. So
right. Yeah.
We definitely need the 2 and the 10 without doubt.
Okay, so good there. 2-7-10.
Oh, hang on, we'll put the 7 underneath for the time being. And just
sounds good.
Yeah, we've got a lot of other horses here to take a look at here.
Exactly.
So here's race number 7, and this is let's see. I see the 3, the 5 are on the top lines for the 2 of you. So I've got Ray with the 3 on.
No, just the 3. Ray did not mention My Prince Harry. I was the only one who mentioned My Prince Harry. The 3 and the 10, I think, were both 3 was me and Ray, and the 10 was me and you, Rich, if I remember right.
I've got the 10, on there. I've got the
3.
Yeah. You had the 3. Yeah, Ray had the 3 and the 10, and I had the 3. Ray had the 3. I had the 10.
3, 6, 4, 8.
Yeah, 3, 4, 6, 8 for Ray.
Okay.
Yeah.
Joe, you've got 5, 3, 10.
So the only ones on the top line are the 3 and the 10. Okay. For at least 2 of us. So let's do that, and we can move everybody else.
All on the next line too. All right, on to race number 8. We've got the 1, the 3. Let's see here. The 13 I see on Ray and Joe. That's Mocat.
Mm-hmm.
And the 2.
right?
right?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you had him too, Rich.
2:30.
Yep. I don't think the one.
2:13.
I think the one is a mistake. That's
No, well, Lady
oh,
Valor, who mentioned did. I
no.
don't
I
know
got
who
13.
mentioned.
No.
No, I think that might have been me misreading the 13.
Okay,
Okay.
so so it should be two. It should be at least 2 and 13.
And the 6. You like the 6.
Who liked the 6? Was that Rich?
I think Rich, yeah.
Do you remember who the 6 was? I believe it's
Liked
my
it
top.
so much. Then.
Yeah. Too much handicapping. Hang on.
Yep. We went back to.
Sassy Little Lila. Yeah. I did.
Oh, okay.
All right.
That's
Sassy
right.
Little Lila was. I did like her. All right. So I'll leave 3 on there. 2, 6, 13 so far in that race. And then in the finale, let's see. The 12. Joe, you and I both have the 12.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ray and Joe, you guys both have the 6.
Uh-huh.
And that's the only consensus we have. I had the 6 on my second line, so the 6 should be on there.
Yeah. Sounds good. So what do we got now? So that
Let's see. Do we want the 4 in there? The 4 was Ray's. Which one is the 4 in the finale?
Oh, very
4
hot.
was very hot, wasn't it?
Oh, very hot. Oh, very hot was actually I had that on my second line. I think.
Yeah.
So if we went 2 by 2, oh, excuse me, sorry. That's an $18 ticket, if I'm not mistaken.
$18.
Hey, why does it keep doing that?
Oh, what happened? No.
What happened?
Well, it keeps switching back and forth between, and then the end. Oh, there you go. Is that what we're going? Is that what we're going with? I'm okay with that.
210 with 310 with 2, 6, 13 with 4, 6, 12.
I'm okay
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
If chances, I mean, that's fine by me. I'm good.
No,
I want to bring up and
the most mobile handicapper that you guys probably know. I write these down on this piece of paper and then I tear it off and walk around with it all day because I'm always betting when I'm out. Standing in the supermarket or at the call center. I'll be at the call center tomorrow. All right, so 210 with 310 with 2, 6, 13 with 4, 6, 12. It's an $18 pick 4 for us. All right. You got that one,
sounds
Jeff?
good, fellas. Yeah, I got it written down. Sounds good.
I'm coming back. Hold on one second. And all righty. Okay, I think that's all the time we have for this week. For those of you watching, if you enjoyed it, we are going to be back next week because, again, the season's really just getting started. As a matter of fact, we're going to take a look at another exciting card. Guys, which track would you like to handicap next week? I think we've got a choice of 2 tracks. It would either be Gulfstream Park or back to Santa Anita for an unprecedented 3rd trip back to to my favorite racetrack of all. And just to give you an idea, Gulfstream Park has 5 stakes races on tap. They are the Old Hat, the Mucho Macho Man. You got the Hutchison, and then a couple of state races, the Ginger Brew on the Dania Beach. Over here,
I would nothing. Nothing against Santa Anita. I would like to go to Gulfstream, but I mean, heck, if we were to hit the pick 4 at Santa Anita on Saturday, I don't care coming back. That would be great. But a little diversity for the fans out there and for ourselves would probably not hurt each other. Plus, I know a couple of those races, definitely the Hutchinson is one of the first stepping stones on the way to the Triple Crown. It's the first. I mean, I don't know that it really presents much of an issue. I mean, I don't think down the road, and I don't know that there's many more than 10 Derby points. if there are even that many. But I think that would be a good change of pace. Chances are we'll have good weather.
Absolutely. So you heard it from Joe. We'll be going to Gulfstream Park. For those of you who are curious, Santa Anita has a pair of grade threes, the Las Ciénegas and the Sham, and a grade two, the San Gabriel Stakes. So, alrighty. Okay, so we are going to get together and take a look at Gulfstream Park next week. Gentlemen, that's all the time we have for tonight. It's always a pleasure to handicap with the two of you.
Absolutely.
Yes, always a pleasure.
Happy New Year,
Yep.
safe and healthy for everybody out there, and good luck in
Happy
2017.
New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody. For Joe English and Ray Torado, I'm Rich Sharp. Thank you for watching Three Broke Guys Handicapping. Good luck and good night.
Good night.
Happy New Year, everybody.